Welcome to Small Business Saturdays video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome into Small Business Saturdays. My name is Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me at oursuccessgroup.com. I am excited to be here finally. Sorry, I'm running a little bit late. I had some storms here last night, so got a late start. But I'm excited for this opportunity to talk to you guys about funnels, kind of shifting gears slightly from what we've been talking about, kind of the bigger mindset stuff. And um, you guys know that's my jam. That's what I love to do, is really cover those mindset issues, and that allows me to get into the success principles and my fundamentals of business success. But we also need to kind of understand some more of the nuts and bolts, so to speak, some of the shinier objects that surround our business. And so I wanted to talk about this concept of a marketing funnel and how to evolve that. I think is the best way to put it. Evolve that into a flywheel. So we'll get into that. But when we talk about this marketing strategy stuff, this is definitely more about how you market your products and just the way you go about presenting and selling things, and how that potentially could adversely affect your company if you're kind of just following that latest marketing trend. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that our marketing reflects the values of our company and kind of what we stand for. So throughout this, I'm going to use some examples, and with those examples, I'm going to be kind of talking about OSG and our values and things like that, because that's where I'm intimately involved, obviously. And but what I want you guys to do is I want you to take and think about these concepts from the perspective of your company. Are there some things in this that you can do differently and change? And first and foremost, I'm not here to say that funnels are bad. The concept of them, it works, right? And we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a bit. But the idea here is, does your marketing method, the way you go about marketing your company, does that align with you as a company? And so that's what I want to talk about here today. For those of you that are tuned into the podcast version here of this particular program, there will be some visuals. I will explain as much as I can, but I will put a link in the podcast notes there that you have to come check out the video over on our YouTube channel, so you can also see the visuals that'll come with this here today. So, but let's check in with everybody and see how we're all doing this morning. We've got Chuck joining us. Good morning, Chuck. How are you? And William, what's up to you, sir? Great to see you. Hopefully you're doing very well. My wife, Kylene, checking in. And Chuck says, glad you could join us, Kylene. And Rich, I appreciate you tuning in here this morning. Yeah, certainly. If you're tuned in live, definitely pop in the comments some of your thoughts and ideas about this. But let's go ahead and dive right into this here, and let's take a look at the funnel. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this graphic up here, and then that way you guys can see that. And so from funnel to flywheel, what I want to first do is talk about the funnel. And as I mentioned before, that this is not about saying funnels are bad and whatnot. The truth is they work, right? It's been proven over and over again that they are a great way to bring in new customers. But if you don't look at this in a more holistic view, there are some fatal flaws, which we're going to talk about those fatal flaws of the funnel here in just a moment. But let's just look at the basic rundown of how a funnel works, right? So an example here would be, well, let me just go through and share what the funnel idea here first, and then we can go from there. So we've got our top of the funnel there where you see connect, and that's where we're trying to bring in customers and get them to see who we are. So, and then from there, we're going to go down to inform. And so once we've connected with them, once they become aware of who we are as a company, then we will inform them about what we do. We share with them why they should potentially become a customer of ours. And then once we've informed them, and as you see, a funnel obviously is bigger at the top and then gets smaller. So at each level, people will be kind of dropping out. So we've informed some people, and then another group of people will go, okay, I'm still interested. And that's where we start trying to drive action. We start putting calls to action in front of them. And then again, another group that's still on board, still excited about this. Then we really this is where it flips over from marketing to sales. This is where we gain sales. This is where we start asking for the order. We go from just a call to action to actually engaging with them and saying, what are the objections to buying? And hopefully then we get down into the very bottom portion there. I've got on the screen there, no buy or equals discard. So at this point, if they're not a buyer and we've worked them through the whole process, then those people that maybe fell into the top of the funnel, and again, at all levels, there's people dropping out. And so with that, we've got people that don't buy, and okay, we've moved on, and then they've kind of gone away. They're still aware of who we are, but for the most part, until we build our next funnel, they've gone away, right? So that's kind of the idea here. So let me give you an example of this, a little bit more concrete. That's kind of the overall idea. But when we look at this, so we've got the connect part. So again, we're trying to attract as many people as we can. And normally what most people do in this scenario is they will do social media marketing, and they're going to create a lead magnet or a giveaway that's going to bring people into the funnel. And the real savvy marketers have even found ways to charge a small amount for those lead magnets and have the customers actually paying for your marketing right up front. And that's great, right? I mean, that's positive, because then you're spreading the wealth, and you're not making massive investments and just hoping for return. And so all those things are good. But again, at each level, people fall out, and even at the connect level, even at the beginning level, you're trying to get in front of people, but not everybody's going to want to connect. And so actually only a small percentage of the people that you've actually reached get into that. Okay, we've connected. They've said, yes, I am interested in going further. It's that whole concept of, if you're going to get married, but yet you don't have anybody of significance in your life, a significant other yet, right? We've got to first get somebody to go on a first date with us. And so that connect is almost like not even the first date. The inform is really the first date. The connect part is you're just asking them to go on a date with you. And so you're trying to get them to say yes. So again, as I mentioned, I'm going to use our success group as kind of an example. So what we've done in this funnel idea, and again, we're not against the funnel. I'm not against the funnel. The idea here is that how do we focus more clearly on some things? And we'll get to that. So with OSG, we've done some things. We've done some webinars. We've do obviously a lot of live videos, things like that. And with that, we've grown a really thriving Facebook community, the business success community that Todd drives and runs, and it's done a great job with. And so there's almost 5,000 people there. We've got about 2,500 or so people on our email list. And so that's on average about 7,500, some other connection points and stuff like that. Let's say 7,500 to 10,000 people in the funnel, right? In the quote unquote funnel. Now, like I said, not everybody falls into the funnel. And so this is of the hundreds of thousands of decorators that are out there that could be potential our success group customers, right? And, two regular guys, all that stuff, right? That's that saying, hey, would you be at least willing to go on a first date with us? So that's the first part. And then the next part is the inform. And this is where you've gotten those first dates, and the inform is, you're just telling them who you are, what you do, showing them how your services could help them. So this is where they actually show up to the webinar, they actually engage, they actually say, yes, I do want the lead magnet, and they download it, and then they become part of the email funnel or sequence or drip or whatever you want to call it. And that's where you're informing them. And so again, people fall out at that level too. They've said, yeah, I'm going to go on a date, and then they don't actually show up, and they don't actually do anything, right? So this is all the people that sign up for your webinar, but never actually get there. And then you've just kind of following up with them. And then, so next we're going to start driving action. So as we get further down in, typically in an email campaign, is what most people will do, but also the retargeting ads on social media, where you go from, hey, here's a problem, to here's how we solve it, buy now, right? That kind of call to action. And with the call to action, then from there, you're going to get an even smaller percentage of people that will actually gain a sale, where you're going to be able to engage with them and sign them up for your product, service, etc. Right. And then, like I said, at the bottom, if they did not buy, there is a certain end to every funnel, right? A physical funnel, there's always an end to it. Stuff comes out the bottom. But if you're pouring massive amounts of water into the top of that funnel, some of it might just fall out. And maybe, and with a marketing funnel, there are holes at each level, because you can only exert so much force into that funnel. And so you have to have holes to let the people fall out that don't actually want to be there. And so, okay, so that's the funnel as an idea. Not a bad thing. Again, but as you can see with the arrow, it's pretty much straight down, right? And that's kind of where the fatal flaw is. But we'll get more into that, because that's what we see as marketing people. That's what we see as the company trying to gain more customers. But what is really what it looks like from the outside to those customers, it looks more like this. It looks more, they feel like they're being crammed into a funnel. They're feeling like they're being yelled at loudly, that how great you are, and that type of thing. And then, because there's only so much time that you can keep people in a funnel and have a return on investment, they feel pushed to take to action. Limited offer, buy now. And again, none of these things are bad. I believe in all of those things, but I'm asking you to take a look and say, how does my marketing feel to people on the outside? So this is how it feels to them. And then they feel like, oh, gosh, I'm really being cajoled. I'm really being pushed forward. And I'm just kind of being shoved, right? And so that's where people are at. They're feeling that shove. They're feeling that, again, limited offer, all that stuff. And then they definitely feel, if they don't buy, they're discarded, right? They're not important anymore. And this is all kind of extreme, so you get the point, right? But that is the way a customer could feel when they're involved with a funnel. They feel like they're crammed into this thing. They feel like they're yelled at and talked about how great you are as the company that's doing the marketing. They feel like they're pushed into action even when they might not be ready. They have objections, but they're not getting those satisfied. But they're, instead of being helped through the process, they're shoved forward a little bit, and then they're discarded, right? And the reason why this has become so popular, and I, in the description, I called it the bro marketing, right? The I don't know. I'm not trying to call anybody out, but the whole 10x idea, and we really got to push hard. Again, nothing wrong with any of this. I just want you to look at how your values are coming across when you do these things that maybe aren't necessarily you, right? So if you're selling, maybe it's just a reasonably inexpensive product and it's all e-commerce and it's not really a relationship-based business, and actually new customers can be of value to you, then yes, that's why this works. But that's not how this is promoted to everybody. This is promoted as the solve all for everything marketing is this funnel. So doing business with existing customers is always more profitable than doing business with new customers all the time. And that's the fatal flaw inside of a funnel, is that you are focused on new customers and new customers only. It's a one-way street. You push until they fall out the bottom. And again, that feeling from the other side is what you're seeing here on screen, this cram, yell, push, shove, all that stuff. And so how do we evolve our flywheel into a more useful, or sorry, how do we involve our funnel into a more useful, um, what I would call flywheel, right? And you guys know that I love the idea of a flywheel, because it's that you start building momentum. It takes a lot of work at first, but if done right, it will keep its momentum going, and then it becomes less and less force to keep the circle moving, right? The idea is to keep the circle moving, and when we center that around the customer, as you can see here, so we change, and build more business relationships, right? Your company is going to more easily thrive, right? So again, the funnel is not bad. We're going to connect, we're going to inform, we're going to drive action, we're going to gain sales, but then at the bottom, we're going to focus on the repeat business. And so we're really not going to actually focus on the funnel, as you'd see here, right? We need to have a better way, and that's where this create advocates, that's the flywheel that I'm talking about. That's what I think a lot of people probably need to shift their mindset into, focusing on creating advocates, because we need to stop with all of the excessive metrics and percentages and just customers being a numbers game. We need to kind of market more with heart, right? Because the rising cost of social media ads, the difficulty of gaining the same things that we once gained through using things like social media, it's hard not to turn the funnel game into a pure metrics game. It just, the reality is it's hard not to do that because of the stakes, right? That you've got to spend a lot more to make more. So margins get tighter, things get a little bit more difficult. Is it still the easiest way to drive brand new customers? 100%, right? I get that 100%. But is there a better way to look at your overall marketing that makes your reliance on social media ads less important? And I would say, yes, it's by creating advocates. It's by putting the customer at the center of your marketing, right? So let's take a look at that here. And so we focus on this, on creating advocates, right? We want to evolve our funnel into this flywheel. And this is a model where you can maintain your marketing momentum. So it doesn't matter where they're at in the process, it's continuous. So people aren't necessarily falling out over and over. And so your marketing is, instead of it being, okay, let's go from top to bottom, it's continuous. So you don't lose the momentum, right? It allows for longer, more loyal customers. And when you create advocates, your loyal customers also help you sell. And that's the number one key. The idea of a flywheel, it puts your customers at the core, and they will help you grow your business more efficiently and effectively and more sustainably by helping you attract the right customers into your business right away, instead of just making it a hope and percentage game. So to stop focusing so much on the funnels and focus more on the customers, we do need to create those advocates. We need to lead with value, right? Everything that we talk about and share should be leading with value, leading with what problems we solve for our customers. It shouldn't be leading with, excessive bump offers. I get the idea that of a bump, and I love it, right? I think it's a great idea that, hey, I'm just helping you understand that maybe there's a way to do a little bit more. I appreciate you buying this product. Can I give you even more value by offering you even more opportunity? But when that becomes like that, I got to get the percentages all the way up, and there's 3, 4, 5 bump offers, then that becomes more about forcing more people down through the funnel and then trying to squeeze as much out of them as we can, right? So when we go to this flywheel idea, this is about leading with value. It's about, showing up every week, showing up every day. It comes from really putting in the effort to actually understand and engage with your potential customers. It comes from putting in the effort to actually understand truly and deeply what problem you solve for your customers. It's not about scheduling everything and then just replying with hearts and likes. I love scheduling. I think it's a great idea. And if done well, then it's perfect. It saves you some time. But the trick is scheduling and then getting back in there and engaging and having the real conversations, not just the here's my next product, here's the offer, did you see this cool thing? It's what's real, what's deep, how do we understand why everybody asks how much it's going to how much I should charge for this, as opposed to spending the time to have those deeper, more difficult conversations about, well, do you know what it costs, and why is it that you feel like this is the way to go, and getting into some of those more deeper discussions. That's how we create advocates. That's how we show people that we value what they are, and then grow from there. So what we really need to do is get to this particular way. Oops, get back to that. Sorry, hit the wrong button. Okay. We need to look at our marketing more like this, right? Where that piece on the top, that's the attract, right? And that is the funnel. But see, it's not really a funnel. We're just constantly attracting people by providing value, and continuing to provide more and more value. And then you see over here down on the bottom right side of that image, it's about then engaging with those people that you've attracted, about really kind of having more of a conversation, getting deeper, right? Why I love volley that you see right kind of down here, that is you can get deeper with people. You can understand them at a deeper level. You can engage with them. Whereas, the keyboard warrior situation or messenger or whatever, it's a little bit harder, right? When I'm just typing this communication that I'm having with you, you can understand me. You commenting over here, a little more difficult. So that's why I always love, let's take it over into volley, where we can get more engagement, where we can have better conversations. And then the next part is we're going to delight our potential customers. We're going to do unexpected things. We're going to give them value without expecting anything in return. That's the delight side of things. And the reason this works is it's all centered around your customers, your ideal customers, right? It just says customers on the graphic here, but what this should say is your ideal customers. And so it starts with understanding who those ideal customers are. It starts with really focusing in on those ideal customers. So that's how we evolve. That's my idea about the funnel. Again, make sure that I'm really clear. I'm not against it. I don't think any of these marketing tactics are bad or negative. I just think that if we lose sight of what our message is doing and saying and feeling to our potential customers, then we might be attracting the wrong people. And I think that's where most people get into problems. I know that that's been a challenge for us with our success group, is that the way we've kind of marketed, messaged, we might not have been attracting the people that we could really help. The people that we're attracting might not quite be ready to get to that point of, I do want to put in the effort to build a foundation. I do want to make sure that I believe in myself. And, it's not just about selling the, latest NFL logo and copyright Disney products on Etsy, and having a TikTok place where, I've got a 500,000 followers, and I don't know if you tuned into Two Regular Guys yesterday, Terry's story about the person who was talking about that trust the process. And Terry didn't actually say that. I knew a little bit deeper. So sorry, I didn't mean to give it away, but they're trying to copyright a term called trust the process, right? So that's that funnel idea. How many people can I shove in the top and get them to like me long enough to put a product in front of them and help them make the buying decision, right? But when we look at a flywheel, it's a whole different thought, right? It's about how much value do we bring. It's about doing the small things too. It's about making sure that we show up in a way that is really a value, where we're acting as if we are at our peak of success, and we're going to do things and show up in ways that make that valuable, right? We're going to spend the extra time to engage with people. We're going to spend the extra time to delight people. We're not going to just wing it and kind of have right? That doesn't mean that we have to perfect everything. That means that we have to be proud of everything that we do, right? You can't just be kind of, pardon the language, half-assed, right? We'll just throw that out there. It can't be that way. It has to be a bit more thought put into it. It has to be a bit more looking at things from a 30,000 foot view, that type of thing. So I will belabor this to death if you guys let me. So I'm going to actually stop right now and just leave it there. Let you guys take that in. If there's any thoughts, ideas, questions that you all have, please let me know. But if you're catching the podcast version, and excellent, Chuck, thank you for sharing this. Let me, before I get to the podcast version side of here, Chuck just shared in the live comments here, I think the Flywheel is more apt to retain customers. And you're exactly right, Chuck. I mean, you've just summed this up perfectly for me. So I really appreciate that. That's the whole idea. It's about retaining customers. But I guess we can also take this Flywheel concept one step further. And it's not necessarily just retaining customers, it's retaining community. It's retaining the potential customers, right? They might not be ready to buy yet, but they are building that know, like, and trust with you by all of the engagement, by all of the delight that you've shared with them, by keeping them in the loop, as opposed to just letting them fall out the bottom and then hoping to catch them the next time. We're keeping them in the loop, right? We're providing good content, through blogs and live videos and sharing and helping and being there for our community and showing up to the events. And all of those things are part of that flywheel, because we're just focused on what we can do for the customer, as opposed to what the customer can do for us and the numbers and the metrics. And again, I'm not against any of those things. It's very important, because we're spending our time, hard-earned time and money, to try to help provide the opportunities of the products and services to other people. So we do need to measure that. We do need to realize that, yes, even with the flywheel, some people are going to fall out, and that's okay, right? But if we change our mindset and focus in on what our potential customers could use, then we're going to gain that momentum, and that momentum will grow more organically. So therefore we can spend less overall. It doesn't mean that you don't have to do some attracting, right? We look at the top of that flywheel. So Chuck, wonderful comment there. Pop it up one more time. I think the flywheel is more apt to retain customers and potential customers. So awesome. Thank you, Chuck. So yeah, so if you're tuned into the podcast version, or even if you've just caught the live version and you want this to sink in a little bit more, and you have other questions and comments and things you'd like to discuss about this, if you'll just head to osg.link/volley, that'll put you in the Our Success Group Success Principles community over there. And you'll see several different channels, wherever feels right for you. That could be random. Maybe we'll add a Small Business Saturday channel in there so we can continue this conversation. In fact, you know what? Not maybe, I'm going to do that. I'll do that today. I will add a Small Business Saturday channel. We've already got Tuesdays with Todd channel in there. So we'll add a Small Business Saturdays channel so we can continue this conversation. Things that didn't make sense, things that you're questioning, things that you agreed with, whatever. Let's have that conversation. Let's engage more deeply, right? Let's hit that engage button here. I'll put it back up. Let's hit that engage over on the bottom right. And then my hope is that I'm able to delight you with more information. And the best part is you guys delight me with all of your thoughts and ideas. We're growing. It's that rising tide lifts all boats mentality. And so head on over to osg.link/volley, and I'll have that Small Business Saturdays channel set up in, it's 9:37 right now here Central Time. So by 10 a.m. Central Time, I will have that channel on what is today, May 14th. So, all right, that's what I've got for you guys today. Hopefully that was helpful and useful for you. If you have any other thing else, you're very welcome, Jerry. Thank you so much for being here and taking your time with me on this Saturday morning. Let's see here. I do have one more thing. This is something that I'm going to kind of, whoops, wrong one. There we go. A little harder to see, but up there in the top right, you'll see oursuccessgroup.com/unlock. And we just finished one last night. Amazing opportunity. And the young lady that joined us had some amazing breakthroughs, and I can't wait to see where she goes. But we will have another one in June. So if you'll go to that date, you can check it out. It's oursuccessgroup.com/unlock. And let's see if you can kind of get beyond any limiting beliefs and build and grow. So I think that is about it. And William says, cool. I like the delight idea. Yeah, knowing William is a guy that I got to meet through Mountaintop Motivation, and he's the community speaker. William is, and he actually has been on the Two Regular Guys podcast. Fantastic guy, and the reason I wanted him on our podcast so much is he's all about delight. He shares these stories. He's all about giving, and so I figured you'd like this, William. So thanks so much for being here. I'm glad that you checked it out and tuning in from LinkedIn too. I appreciate that. So, all right, you guys, that's what I got for you. I'm going to get out of here before I stretch this way too far for no apparent reason. Let's have a great rest of our Saturday. And next week, we'll be back talking about building our money tree. And okay, Chuck says, which would be the best way to contact you? So, Chuck, Volley is always the best way to contact me. But if not Volley, then email is probably a great way to contact me too. Just success@oursuccessgroup.com. Try to make it as easy as possible. So you have to remember all these different, like, is it Aaron M or whatever? Just success@oursuccessgroup.com if you want to reach out to me that way. But Volley is always the best. Once you get into that community, you can actually direct message me, and I will, if you're new to the community, I will actually send you a personal video, and then you can just reply to that. That is our direct message in the community. So that's just down below. So, and I am going to do some Volley how-tos here in the not so distant future, I hope. So just keep your eyes peeled for that inside that osg.link/Volley community. So thank you for asking, Chuck. All right. You guys, thank you so much. Have a great day. Next week, again, talking about building your own money tree and the fundamentals that go along with that. And so I am excited to talk to you guys about that. See, Jerry, you're bringing OSG can be the fertilizer for our money tree. That's absolutely what my goal is. And so I love that you said that. And that's my hope, right? We're gonna talk about the roots. We're gonna talk about the trunks. We're gonna talk about the branches. Yeah. I don't want to get too far into it, but I appreciate that, Jerry. So I'm going to give you a high five, Jerry, and Chuck, and William, and everybody that's here. Thank you guys so much, and I appreciate your time, and I will talk to everybody again next week.